What if your home lowered your bills, charged your car, and helped protect the planet without lifting a finger? Every City Ventures home is built with solar, smart thermostats, EV charging readiness, and Energy Star appliances all included standard. It's eco-friendly living without the compromise. Intelligent, integrated, included. Discover California's leader in sustainable new home construction at cityventures.com. That's cityventures.com.
If you've been dreaming about a place where life feels a little more intentional, discover the Canopy in Sebastopol by City Ventures. This new community offers solar-powered homes, surrounded by mature trees, nature preserves, and walking trails, with a vibrant local downtown, renowned wineries, and the Bay Area all within easy reach. Enjoy low-maintenance living, refined design, and built-in eco-friendly features that make everyday life easier. Start your next chapter at the Canopy by City Ventures. Visit cityventures.com. That's cityventures.com.
You got to remember, we're all like 19-year-old kids. It's like a camp out or and you don't realize how close you come to certain times that it might be your time.
Last time on the show, we heard stories from Gerald Allday. He was a LRP in the Vietnam War. I talked to Gerald during the 75th Ranger Battalion's reunion this year in Chattanooga, Tennessee. Today on the show, more of my conversation with Gerald Allday.
If you have people that get wounded, you load them on the helicopter, you got their blood all over your fatigues, and you might wear those fatigues another 2 or 3 days with that dried blood on there, and that works on your stuff too. And it has a kind of a smell, a metallic smell to it. It's something like, you just don't forget.
My name is Josh Roe, and this is Tomorrowtown, Tennessee.
We had a lot of times that we would get shot out of a place. We'd go out on a recon on a chopper, and they'd put us in. And we'd get back in the bush, and then you'd get ambushed. They are surrounded, and then we'd have to call gunships or helicopter to come pick you up. And anyway, we went out one day. They wanted us to go in this place and do some LRPing in there. So we went there, and we got shot out. And we came back, helicopters picked us up. They called in the Cobras and gunships, and they shot up the area, and we ran out and got in our helicopter in the slick, and took us back to LIK and landed. And our first sergeant was there in a Jeep, and he had more ammo, more grenades, all this stuff, so we could resupply. And so we did that, and he said, "Y'all got to go back." And we said, "We're not, the same place?" And he said, "Yeah." I said, "You got to go back in there." Okay, so we got back out there, and from the place that we had got extracted from, it was still some fire and stuff burning, from the rockets and stuff. Well, they went past that maybe 500 yards down the edge of a rice paddy, and then it's jungle, and dropped us off. So we go in there, and we wasn't in there 15 minutes, and here we are again, and they were all around us. And we had to shoot our way back out and get behind the rice paddy dikes, laying in the mud out there. And so they finally came back, and they got us out of there again. We went back, and the first sergeant was there again. And he said, "Well, y'all got to go back in there." And we said, "We're not going." And who says we got it? He said, "The colonel said that there will be a team in that area tonight." You're talking to a bunch of kids, really, 19-year-olds, and it's no need to go back. It's all, we've been compromised twice. We know what's in there. We was telling them. I said, there must be 1,000, VC in that place, because there's everywhere. And anyway, he made us, said, "Well, y'all getting Article 15s. He put us on the Jeep and took us up to the orderly room up there. And he said, "Y'all get Article 15s for disobeying order." So while we were discussing that with the first sergeant, Enrique Cruz, who was another team leader, he was an E6, he comes walking up and he said, "What's going on?" And we said, "Well, they want us to go back. We just got shot out this afternoon twice, and he wants to put us back in there again. We're not going." He said, "Well, I'll take my team." So he takes his team, and they got out there that evening, and they had only 2 survivors out of that team. Enrique Cruz was KI-8. Gary Johnson was KI-8. Leibniz was KIA. And we had Larry Wenzel was wounded. He had part of his hand shot off. And Bill Goshen was wounded. And Gary Johnson lived most of the night, but they were hunting them. And they had their little lights out trying to hunt them. They couldn't use the radio because it was all shot up with holes in it. And they couldn't really, they had a plane overhead that was trying to make contact. And anyway, during the night, Gary Johnson died. He passed away. And Wenzel drug Bill Goshen, and he had him. The other bodies were still out there. And they were checking them all out, and, the enemy was. This is what Bill Goshen wrote about in his book called War Paint. He wrote about, it's in chapter called, the last night or the, he wrote about all that. But I felt, I didn't see Bill till years later, and I saw Wenzel years later. But the other guys, I always felt bad, because that was supposed to be me back out there, and kind of like those guys took our place because we refused to go, and so that's something that you had to live with over the years. You always, it was hard to get rid of that. Here's your buddies that died for you. Went, and we begged them not to go there, but they went anyway. So that's something that I had to, over the years, maybe have therapy about it. I always felt bad.
Did you ever understand why it was so important for you guys to be out there? Because you said
this colonel never said. He just said he had to have a team in there that night. But they found out it was like a battalion of NVA. I don't know the name of the company or the battalion that was in there. But the next day they had like a ready reaction force to go in there just to get the bodies. Yeah. And they took fire trying to, and they had Cobras flying and just shooting up the area and everything to get the bodies and the guys out of there. Bill Goshen had a signal mirror, and he was able to, while he was wounded, he was able to signal the plane that was a little circle guy up there, and saw the reflection and found out where they were at. But other than that, they didn't know what was going on because they didn't have comms, no radio, And but I don't know. I lived with that for a long time, thinking about, we should have went back. If we'd have went back, we'd all died, pretty much probably. I don't know, but I know those guys went. Because they went. We didn't. So it like I said, it's just something that I felt bad about for years, that you carried with you. It's like your fault they died, yeah. And other than that, most of the guys that are still around now, we're all older. And I asked my wife, I said, "Are y'all still gonna have reunions when there's only like one guy left?" Or, in 2 years I'll be 80, so. I don't know. I just think about stuff like that.
How, you talk about the things you think about and the things that bother you. How much healing is there in these reunions? How good does it be around these guys?
A lot, really. It's like when I first saw Ron, 50 years, and all my life I always thought he died.
Yeah.
And he was a pretty good friend, Kind of took me under his wing when he was already there when I first got there. He kind of took me under his wing. I'm a new guy, and telling me this, you can do this, you do this, and this is, it's. And then all of a sudden you're out with him when you put him on a helicopter, and it was pretty bad. Anyway, it always is if you have people that get wounded. You load them on the helicopter, you got their blood all over your fatigues, and you might wear those fatigues another 2 or 3 days with that dried blood on there, and that works on your stuff too. Sure. And it has a kind of a smell, a metallic smell to it. It's something like, you just don't forget.
If you've been dreaming about a place where life feels a little more intentional, discover the Canopy in Sebastopol by City Ventures. This new community offers solar-powered homes, surrounded by mature trees, nature preserves, and walking trails, with a vibrant local downtown, renowned wineries, and the Bay Area all within easy reach. Enjoy low-maintenance living, refined design, and built-in eco-friendly features that make everyday life easier. Start your next chapter at the Canopy by City Ventures. Visit cityventures.com. That's cityventures.com.
Evening. Buyer's remorse. Buy a new car? I'll be moving in. Let's get started.
Sorry, I think there's been a mistake. I bought it from Carvana.
You what?
Yeah, great price. I even have 7 days to love it or return it.
So there's no...
No buyer's remorse. More like buyer's rejoice.
I guess I'll let myself out. Congratulations. I mean it.
Buyer's rejoice. Buy your car today on Carvana.
Limitations and exclusions may apply. See our 7-day return policy at Carvana.com.
When I finally left Vietnam, I came back to Fort Polk, and then they sent me to drill sergeant school. I went and graduated from that, and then I was in Tigerland. And I tried to teach the guys that I knew that's where they were going, the recruits there. And I tried to tell them about stuff that might happen to them or they need to watch for. I didn't really have that when we went over there. A funny thing that happened, we were in a demolition class. I had taken I was 3rd platoon sergeant, but I marched the company out to the demolition class. We had bleachers and a podium up there. And there's this sergeant up there, and he's teaching us, about showing us claymore mines, how they work, how they open up, and it shows all the ball bearings in there, and this is the clacker, and how to hook it up and do all this stuff, and different things, And they have these guys in the bleachers, and I'm kind of leaning against this. At Fort Polk, there's a lot of pine trees, and I'm leaning over there against a pine tree. And this is before I had gone to drill sergeant school, and I had a helmet liner on. You know what, a helmet liner goes inside of the steel pot. Yep. And it had the little Fort Polk insignia, the little clover leaf insignia on there. And I'm just watching the guys to keep them awake. And they'd go to sleep, and I'd say, hey, and he'd punch that guy and make him pay attention down here. Well, I didn't know it, but this sergeant had rigged these explosives under the bleachers. Yeah. And I didn't know about it. So he caught some of the guys up there was, nodding off or whatever, and he blew that thing. And I hit the ground, and the helmet liner fell in the middle of my back. I jumped out from under it. And it was just bang, and I'm down. And all those recruits up there are just dying laughing. And that sergeant was doing the class. He said, I'm sorry, Sergeant Allday. He said, I should have told you about that. And he said, you guys quit laughing. He said, you see what happens when an explosion? He said, that's not funny. You'll be doing that. You'll be on the ground. Yeah. But that scared the crap out of me. It really did. And they thought it was funny. Yeah. But man, that was kind of another thing. Right after that, I went to drill sergeant school and pushed a couple of cycles of troops through and then since I got drafted, I was coming up for my ETS was coming up, listed time served. And I had a buddy, we lived off post in a trailer park. I had a buddy that lived over there, and he worked at headquarters, and he was a clerk. So he told me one day, my company commander in First Sergeant was trying to get me to re-up. I was E5, and he said, Allday, look, you need to go in and re-up. We'll give you 6, you'll be E6, and all that, you know. And I'm thinking about it. He said, you love the Army. You're going to do good. You don't need to go be civilian. You make a career out of this. So I'm listening to all that. And my buddy told me, he said, hey, Allday, he said, you on the August levy. I said, the August levy? He said, yeah, second tour in NOM, August levy. He said, your name's on there. I'm like, what? And I'm 11 Bravo. That's my MOS. Well, 11B, 4B since I became drill sergeant. I said, nah, I'm not going. You know, I figured one time around over there that they would probably, there was no more, they had abandoned the LRPS over there at the end in 70. Okay. And disbanded them, and all the guys that still had time went to different line units or whatever. And so I said, well, I know I won't go back to the LRPS. They'll probably have me as a platoon sergeant doing point or something for some platoon, or, you know, I don't know. And the more I thought about it, because you could hear the line company coming. If you were on an ambush somewhere and they were supposed to meet up with a line company, you could hear them hollering, hey, Joe, you got a smoke, up and down the line, you know, while they're going, talking, just, you know, crazy stuff. I didn't want to be, I wanted to be sneaking and peeking, you know, that was good, quiet. But anyhow, I decided no, so I got out.
A big thank you to Gerald Allday for this conversation. And over the next several episodes, we're doing a deep dive into stories from members of the 75th Ranger Battalion who fought in the war in Vietnam. That's coming soon on Tomorrowtown, Tennessee. This podcast is a production of NewsChannel 9, Fox Chattanooga, and Sinclair Broadcast Group Chattanooga. I hope you join me again real soon.
If you've been dreaming about a place where life feels a little more intentional, discover the Canopy in Sebastopol by City Ventures. This new community offers solar-powered homes, surrounded by mature trees, nature preserves, and walking trails, with a vibrant local downtown, renowned wineries, and the Bay Area all within easy reach. Enjoy low-maintenance living, refined design, and built-in eco-friendly features that make everyday life easier. Start your next chapter at the Canopy by City Ventures. Visit cityventures.com. That's cityventures.com.